But what was really interesting is when it was time to wrap up, there were loads of questions. So much so that I had to actually stop the questions and say,
cool.
We can, have questions later with Alex. So that was really interesting.
It's me, myself, and I. It's me, myself, and I. It's me, myself, and I. Me, myself, and I. Us quit. The world has got a million ways.
Headed to the venue now. Nice little walk here. It's called The Big Show. Just talking business readiness and then hardwiring accountability. Hour long each. Super cool company. I'm really excited for it. I think it's gonna be an entertaining, interesting group. Just introducing some of our newer stuff from the No Ego book. We'll see how it goes. I'll let you know. Stay tuned. It's John Wright getting me all taken care of.
Yep.
Let's go. Just finished up the first session. It was on business readiness, or ensuring teams are ready for what's next. And that program is always so interesting to present because throughout the session, the group was really, really quiet.
There was a little bit of a shocked reaction at first. So the message was, like people would start to reflect on what they were thinking and maybe some of the things they've been doing for about 30 years, maybe.
Cool, yeah, we're hitting change head on.
There was a bit of a resistance to the message initially, just as a human reaction.
In my head, it's so funny as a presenter, when groups are really, really quiet, oftentimes either they're thinking or they're processing, or in your head as a speaker, you can't help but think, are you speaking on the wrong topic? Did you miss the memo? Are you in the wrong building sometimes? And they weren't that quiet, but they were, a lot quieter than you'd expect. And you wonder if you're missing your punchlines or whatnot. But it was so interesting that once I got done kind of through all the models, I only had 60 minutes. As the talk went, we had momentum. People started laughing. They started really, enjoying some of the stories. And at the end, I guess earlier they had no questions. No one would ask any questions in their initial get together. They had a company get together, and then boom, immediately we had 3 or 4 questions. I only opened it up for Q&A for about the last 3 or 4 minutes, and I'm wondering if I should have left it open for about 10 minutes there because we got into it.
But what was really interesting is when it was time to wrap up, there were loads of questions. So much so that I had to actually stop the questions and say,
cool.
We can, have questions later with Alex. So that was really interesting.
Because, we're going deeper into the content, which is exciting because I also have this second session here to go into some of our other stuff on hardwiring accountability. Hello everybody, welcome back. Some of those that were in the first session, thank you for coming to this one as well. And what I'm introducing you to is your ego. Because the ego really is your filter on reality. What the ego does is it really scans the environment and it distorts everything that happens, and it distorts it in your favor, painting you as either the conqueror or maybe the righteous one or the victim of some circumstances. When people disengage, it doesn't feel very good. It's not a proud moment. So guess who jumps in to save us when we disengage? Our ego. Our ego jumps in with reasons, stories, and excuses why you had to disengage. It's called BMW driving, bitching, moaning, and whining. The ego is what jumps in and says, oh, dude, you do everything around here. This time you can step down. Or, oh, girl, you do everything. It justifies why you can step down. That's the ego. It comes in to save us. It wants to protect us. It wants to keep us from having to step up. The ego wants to paint us as the victim. For example, boss called to check on a project. Project is behind. Now the story is he's a micromanager that treats me like a child, and he can't manage his way out of a paper bag, and they do this on purpose, and they're going to sabotage my career, and I'm never going to get promoted here. This happened in 1989 to someone I just talked to. Okay, that's the story, but you just helped edit it for them. And you just gave them the greatest gift of all, which is the gift of reality. Just finished up second session. My host Emma has talked me into heading up to Niagara Falls quick for the sunset, and then renting a car from there to get up to my next gig in Toronto. So I'm doing it. I'm going to try and get some footage of the falls. She said you got to see it when you're here. I just committed to it. So we're leaving here soon from the convention center. Great day, and looking forward to seeing the falls, hopefully with a little bit of sunshine left.
In the fading lights, it's me, myself, and
Some of the big takeaways from a few of the people I've talked to. One lady came up, she's one of the trainers here, just said, I absolutely love this stuff, because she's a trainer and she really has talked a lot about IQ versus EQ and how she's seen that when teams are made up of all IQ, the dream teams are just all highly technical, very smart people, that they often can't get anything done in some cases because they're so low on EQ, or they're not willing to collaborate, or they're not willing to say yes to an idea. They can't really put their egos aside to move things forward. And so she totally related to our value equation, where we talk about the fact that emotional expensiveness has 3 times the factor to someone's impact they're having at work. She's like, that totally makes sense. And she even said, I'd actually on teams have an average performer, average technical skills with high EQ or low in drama every time over someone that's highly technical but doesn't play well with others. She even mentioned that our philosophy really simplifies the language so it doesn't sound like you're getting into this EQ, IQ talk. It's really in a way that at any level of the organization or anybody's kind of knowledge level about these concepts, they can really understand them.
Crossing into Canada, a little chilly, but checking it off the bucket list. Very, very cool. I'm looking forward to a good session tomorrow.